Hey everyone! Welcome to the channel. If you're a die-hard NFL fan who lives and breathes NFL 24/7, can't stand the cliches of traditional media anymore, and wants an incisive analysis based on real facts, you're in the right place. Honestly, I've followed this sport for years and rarely have I seen such a bizarre discrepancy between the expectations created by the press and the harsh reality behind the scenes of a franchise as happens in Dallas. Their marketing works hard to convince you that this year the 30-year drought ends, but real American football is decided by tactical details and physical dominance between the lines. We're not going to sugarcoat anything here. But before revealing each of these 12 areas and showing you exactly where the rope will break in the roster led by head coach Brian Schottenheimer in 2026, I need that strength that only our community has. Smash that like button without hesitation and leave your honest comment below. Do you really believe the Cowboys have the roster to reach the Super Bowl this year, or are they destined to fall in the first game of the postseason? Leave your guess in the comments to heat up the debate, because today we're going to dissect this franchise piece by piece, separating what's optical illusion from what's real football. Settle into your chair, grab your review, and pay attention to how Daniel Jeremiah's math applies to the Dallas chessboard, because the result promises to divide opinions and irritate many people. To clearly situate everyone within the current context of the league, let's lay our cards on the table and understand the exact division proposed by Daniel Jeremiah for this championship foundation. His math is simple, direct, and brutal. To be considered a legitimate title contender, you absolutely must guarantee an elite quarterback, 3 indisputable offensive playmakers, 3 high-quality offensive linemen, 2 dominant pass rushers, and 3 defensive playmakers spread throughout the secondary and linebacker core. That's the foundation. If you have these 12 spots stamped with top-tier performance, you fill the rest of the roster with rotation players and can compete at the top. The big problem is that Dallas Cowboys fans love to cling to individual flashes of brilliance to pretend the entire group is perfect, completely ignoring the physical strain and lack of tactical consistency in moments of extreme pressure. The atmosphere in Texas today is one of maximum demand, with eyes glued to the main stars and a heavy distrust hanging over the coaching staff's ability to make this machine work under stress. The atmosphere in training is intense, the fans are on edge, and the pressure for immediate results has never been so suffocating. Let's start by evaluating the pillar that dictates the rhythm of any franchise in modern sports, the most important position in the game, where Dallas has one of the most polarizing and debated names in recent NFL history. The owner of jersey number 4, Dak Prescott. In my opinion, when we compare his performance against the analysts' criteria, the answer is a resounding and indisputable yes. He fills the quarterback position for a championship-winning team. I know the haters will be furious and start screaming on social media, but the facts don't lie. In the last few seasons when he was completely healthy, including his technical consolidation years in 2023 and 2025, Dak's numbers were absurd. He comfortably positioned himself in the league's top 10 in passing efficiency, touchdowns scored, and interception control. You can count on one hand how many quarterbacks played at a higher level than him in those specific regular sampling periods. He has surgical precision in the pocket, intelligence to change plays at the line of scrimmage, and leadership that keeps the offense productive week after week. However, you've probably already noticed the huge elephant in the room haunting the fan, his physical history. The ghost of recurring injuries is the biggest danger to this team's future. It's impossible not to draw a painful analogy with what happened in Tony Romo's career, who was playing the best football of his life before consecutive back injuries destroyed his longevity and sabotaged the team. If the offensive line protects Dak and he stays healthy, the Cowboys have a quarterback good enough to beat anyone. But the quarterback doesn't play alone, and it's when we look at the weapons around him that the tactical discussion reaches a new level of intensity. In terms of 3 elite offensive players, the Dallas Cowboys managed to tick off Daniel Jeremiah's checklist with maximum authority. The first name is a league-unanimous choice, CeeDee Lamb. The guy is a legendary figure who has strung together 5 consecutive seasons breaking the 1,000-yard receiving barrier, an impressive feat that proves his elite consistency on short, medium, or long routes. But the front office's masterstroke for 2026 goes by the name of George Pickens. Yes, my friends, Pickens is playing under the franchise tag this year, and his production in yards per rushing route last season was strictly identical to Lamb's. Having these two lined up simultaneously causes a panic explosion in the head of any opposing defensive coordinator. And to complete the trio, I am perfectly comfortable giving the seal of approval to running back Javonte Williams, who signed that 3-year contract extension and brings the ground balance the team so desperately needed to punish defenses at the goal line. If you're enjoying this straightforward analysis and want to stay up to date on all the truths about your team with direct, high-quality content, take advantage of this moment now. Subscribe to the channel and activate the notification bell so you don't miss any videos from our special coverage leading up to the Super Bowl. In my view as an analyst, Dallas's passing attack has the raw power to blow up any secondary in 2026. The offensive issue is spectacularly resolved. The real problem, the point where the fan starts to sweat and the farce is exposed, lies on the other side of the ball. When we shift our focus to the pass rush and defensive playmakers, the Dallas Cowboys image begins to crumble alarmingly, and the suspense turns into real concern. The criteria demand two dominant pass rushers. They have Rashawn Gary, who started last year flying high with an impressive average of 1 sack per game in the first 7 games, but who simply disappeared and completely cooled off in the last 9 weeks of the season. Behind him, what we have is pure hope and projection based on young prospects like Donovan Ezeuruaku and Malachi Lawrence, who have yet to prove anything in high-pressure NFL scenarios. At the pure defensive playmaker position, the hole is even deeper. If you take cornerback Darren Bland, he had that magical year in 2023 with a record number of pick sixes, but in the 19 games played since then, he has managed only 1 measly interception. A bizarre drop in performance. The other cornerback, Kobe Durant, had an up-and-down season, demonstrating glaring inconsistency in the playoffs. Safety Jalen Thompson is a solid player, but he's far from being a turnover creator feared by quarterbacks. And linebacker DeMarvion Overshown, coming off a delicate physical recovery, is still trying to replicate his ideal physical form. Defensive coordinator Christian Parker tried to revamp the unit by bringing in 12 new players through trades and inexpensive signings, but let's be realistic. What is the statistical probability of all these signings working simultaneously in such a competitive league? The final verdict takes us back to the true historical drama that has haunted the Texas franchise for 3 decades, chronic collapse in playoff games. If we look at advanced EPA data, which measures expected points per play in the postseason since 2004, quarterbacks with at least 5 playoff games played, the Dallas Cowboys defense languishes in a humiliating bottom 3 position in the entire NFL. This means that in the postseason games Dak Prescott played, his defense performed at a level equivalent to the 3 worst teams in the league. It's a frightening and devastating statistic. No offense in the world can withstand a defensive system that so generously concedes yards and points in the playoffs. The quarterback wasn't perfect and made crucial mistakes. The offensive line collapsed against the San Francisco 49ers, the running backs got injured at the worst possible time, but Dallas' collective failure at the crucial moment is a systemic structural flaw. According to Daniel Jeremiah's criteria, the Cowboys can fill the offensive side of the ball, but their defensive foundation is a dangerous illusion devoid of consistent playmakers in 2026. And now the floor is yours, fan who has followed this tactical journey so far. Looking at all these exposed numbers and the lack of elite pass rush in the rotation, do you think this revamped defense will prove me wrong, or will we witness another historic embarrassment in January? Write in the comments below, leave your like, share this video with that friend of yours who still defends this defense, and definitely subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the next chapters of this saga.